right, Ari. Hi, I'm gonna invite you to my live now. I see some people are coming on, so I guess we could start. Let's see. One request, two requests. So, we're having a very interesting discussion today, and it's about how we hear from God. I know that's something that many of you are interested in, as well as myself, so I thought this would be a great topic. Hello.
Hi,
Hi, Ari. Nice to meet you.
nice to meet you too. This is so cool.
I know, fun, right?
Yeah,
Okay, so you're ready to do the interview? So I told everyone we're going to be talking about God and how we hear from him. And I really
yeah.
like the story that you had. So you could just tell a bit about that. And then
Okay.
you guys, if you have any questions, you could just jump in when you want.
Yeah, love questions.
Yeah, easier.
So I'll just do like a brief overview.
Okay.
I was raised in church. My parents are awesome. They always like taught me about Jesus
Yeah.
and God.
Hmm.
Um, but I guess most of what I was raised with was like a very intellectual faith. I knew a lot. Like everything was all up here.
Right.
And it was great because I was a curious person. But I had the opportunity in college to do a study abroad in Korea.
Okay.
And I started going to a church there
Hmm.
that really challenged me. When I walked in, people were like worshiping like I'd never seen. Everyone had their hands up and like they
Wow.
were speaking in
Oh,
tongues
that
and
must have been a
like
good experience.
yeah, and people were like falling on the floor and
Oh.
like I was concerned for their physical safety. I
Is
was
this the
like,
first
oh,
time you ever been to a church like this? I forgot what you said.
I'd
Yeah.
never
Oh, so you never,
never seen this.
this was the first
Um,
time you went to church or just this type of church?
just this type of
Oh,
church.
okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So I was kind of concerned for people's physical safety because I was just
Yeah,
shocked.
yeah,
I didn't know what was happening.
yeah. You just don't
And then
react.
yeah, it was scary.
Yeah.
Um, but my friend who was with me seemed really calm. And I
Oh,
was like, okay,
okay. So that's like,
she's okay with this.
mm-hmm,
I know she's cool.
mm-hmm,
I'll just stay. I'll just stay. And so I stayed and I listened to the sermon and
mm-hmm.
everything seemed really good. And I went to a welcome you meeting after church.
Yeah.
And they were like, so, have you ever seen anything like that? And I was like, no,
No.
no, I haven't. And they were like, okay, well, we just came back from a church retreat, so this is a little different than usual.
Mm-hmm.
And do you have questions? I was like, I have so many questions.
Uh-huh.
I don't know where to start asking questions. And they were like, that's great. I was like, okay. So I just started asking questions slowly, and I kept going back to that church, even though I was like, I should look at other churches in the area. Like, I just never did.
Yeah.
And so I slowly started asking questions and learning more about people there, and like just asking them questions about like, how do you talk to God?
Mm-hmm.
Why do you speak in tongues? How do you speak in tongues? What does the Bible say about this? And then people there, they had dreams and visions, they had seen healings, and
Wow.
I just like would just sit and just listen to the stories. I was
That's
like,
so
just tell me more.
interesting. It, I
Yeah,
was feeling like overwhelmed too, right? With all the new information. Like,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. It was more like fascinated
Yeah,
even.
like a fascinating overwhelming.
Yeah, because I was like, I've read about this in the Bible,
Mm-hmm.
but I thought it was like just in the Bible, and then I find out it's for real.
Yeah.
It's like, oh. Yeah, so yeah, I just kept going back, and after I felt comfortable with it, I started wanting those things for myself too. I was like,
Right.
okay, I think I want this now. Because first it was like I need to understand it,
Mm-hmm.
and then once I was comfortable, I was like, okay,
Yeah,
I,
you're like,
I
okay,
want this too.
I have the knowledge now.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
felt left out.
And then that's how you started to like learn more about God, you were saying? Like you started to have the dreams and
So I
oh,
had one
dreams.
friend who's they've worked with Streams Ministry,
Okay.
uh, and gosh, I think they're based in Hong Kong.
Okay.
And he heard about the dreams that I had when I was a kid, and they were pretty much all nightmares. I had
Oh,
horrible nightmares when I was a child.
oh no.
Yeah, I know, my poor
Yeah,
parents.
not happy.
And he was like, huh, well, that sounds kind of like attack. And he
Yeah.
was telling me about some of the dreams that he had and how they were like purposeful and
Hmm.
they were God talking to him. I was like, well, that sounds great.
Yeah.
And he was like, well, you could have it too. I was like, really? Really? Like,
Yeah.
and so he just prayed over me that I would start hearing from God
Hmm.
in my dreams.
Yeah.
And immediately I started having dreams.
Oh, that's
Like,
amazing.
yeah,
You just
like,
like you weren't expecting that. I'm gonna guess,
was
and it's just like
no.
out of nowhere.
It was really overwhelming. I actually lost a lot of sleep.
Oh yeah,
Um,
because you said you were like trying to decipher it, right? And so yeah.
so I was trying to think about it too much because I'm a very logical thinker by
Right.
nature.
Uh-huh.
So I was trying to figure it out. And some of the dreams would like wake me up at
Uh-huh.
like 3, 4 a.m.
Yeah. Like
Which now I know isn't bad,
yeah, yeah, used to it now.
but
So it's like not that
yeah,
like
but then I was like, why can't I sleep? What's wrong with me? Oh my goodness. And so it kind of had, yeah, it was just too much. And so after a couple of months, I prayed again. I was like, God, I love you. I'm
oh
so glad you're speaking to me.
yeah, it's awesome.
Stop talking to me in my dreams.
You just
And they stopped immediately.
yeah,
I was
I mean
like,
like I guess God maybe he felt like maybe it was too overwhelming for you, so he wanted to like wait until you were ready. Because
yeah,
God is he doesn't like intrigue. He doesn't like, push himself. So he wait till we're
absolutely.
ready, and
Yeah.
that's really
Yeah. So there was a lot of like grace over that situation.
mhm.
And looking back now, I'm like, wow, thank you, God, because I think I would have rejected it entirely.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. And so then about 6 months later,
Hmm.
I ran into kind of a big like wall in my life. It
Hmm.
was just like, it was a hard time. And
Yeah.
I was like, God, I need to hear from you.
Uh-huh.
Like, any way you want to talk to me,
Uh-huh.
go for it.
Yeah,
And
that's you have
so
to be bold. Just let him know what
yeah,
you want.
yeah, so I got a dream that night,
Hmm.
and it made no sense to me. I tried. I was like, "You're talking to me. This is good. This is good." And since then, I've had more and more dreams,
Hmm.
and um, some of them I understand, some of them I don't. Some are from God, some are definitely not.
Right.
Um,
Like you were
and so,
saying, you wanted to like show the difference. So like, do you mind
yeah,
like explaining to people how we could tell the difference between God, Satan, and yourself in terms of dreams? Because
yeah.
that's
So you want me to
something that I
explain that?
struggle with still sometimes. Like I sometimes I can't tell if I want something badly and that's why I'm dreaming, or if it's God. So how are you able
Yeah.
to decipher?
Um, so the simple way, obviously, like this will be different for other people because dreams always have to do with yourself, how you think, how you receive information. It's very personal,
Right.
which is beautiful.
Hmm.
But so if I have a dream that inspires fear, if it's accusatory over things that I've done, over myself, if it is threatening in any way,
Right.
if it makes me feel powerless, like in a negative way,
Yeah.
it's basically all the descriptions of Satan in the Bible.
Right.
He's an accuser, he's a liar, he comes to steal, kill, and destroy.
Exactly.
So if it's under that label, then that's not from God, and
But
I
if
just
it
toss it immediately.
like if it frightens you, if it upsets you, I know that's not from God.
Yeah. Although I have gotten stuff from God that's upset me, but it's because of like
Because of
the weight
direct,
of it.
yeah, like how you.
Like intercessory
Hmm.
kind of ones.
Oh, okay.
Sometimes those are upsetting. Just because sometimes when you ask to like see God's heart about a situation,
Hmm.
sometimes his heart's breaking over something.
Right.
And so then your
I
heart's
mean,
breaking.
I mean,
You're
yeah,
like,
that's true.
oh,
Like it depends on the way you think about it. Like from your perspective, like from God's perspective, He's not trying to purposely upset us, but it could be, the way we see it, or if we're
yeah,
expecting more from Him and He doesn't want to
exactly.
give it to us or whatever it is, then that could come
Yeah.
across as upsetting or a nightmare.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So I think the next two between God and myself, those are the hard ones to decide.
Oh,
So the first filter that I have with that is, do I remember the dream and did it make an impact? Because sometimes you're just stressed out, you
right.
know? You have dreams about like TV shows, like it happens. It
Hmm.
totally happens. But when I like wake up from a dream and I can remember everything that's happened in the dream, and it has impacted me.
Right.
Um,
Then that's probably most
I
likely from
pay
God.
attention. Yeah, I know to pay attention. And so what I'll do is now, I didn't always do this, but now I know to like take that straight back to God. I'm like, all right, God, we got to talk about this because
Exactly.
you want to do something.
Yeah, you
And I
have
don't
to
get
ask for
this.
confirmation. Like I see
Yeah,
somebody said repressed memories, so like that could be a thing too.
mhm,
Like if something in your
absolutely.
mind, obviously you're gonna dream about it. But
Yeah,
yeah, like what you said about how it makes an impact. Like I've had dreams where God's talked to me years ago, and I still remember it very vividly. So I'm like, I'm pretty sure that's from God. I write that
yeah,
like you do, so I could always look back and see them. So
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. And God will bring back dreams. I had a dream in 2016
yeah.
that basically outlined 2017.
Oh wow.
Well, I didn't know it at the time,
Uh-huh.
but then some stuff started happening in 2017. I was like, this feels familiar.
Yeah.
Why does it? And then I went back to
Like,
that
oh
dream
yeah,
and I was
remember the
like,
dream? God,
I was like,
I
what?
told you.
It was freaky.
Oh
It was,
man. I mean,
but
yeah.
such comfort because I was like,
Was it
God, you're
all?
already there.
I'm hoping it was all good things that happened, or was it like a mixture? Mixture.
No, it was more of a warning.
Oh, okay. So just those warning dreams are very powerful, and they stick with you for a long time.
Yeah,
But
but it's okay because I was praying about it.
right.
So
I mean, like he doesn't mean to scare us. Like he does it to prepare us, and like once we know that
exactly.
he's with us, like we don't need to fear. So I really like that you brought up that point about deciphering dreams, because I was also like you too, like with dreams. I always had an interest in dreams since I was little, but I didn't have a prophetic dream until I was about 14, and then it just started like it wasn't really from God, but I would just see things that would happen. But then like later on when I was like 17, 18, many people wondered like how I started to make these documentaries. And then he spoke to me like the summer of 2012 about like creating Christian documentaries. And he just started speaking to me ever since, but not only about that, but about situations in my life, in people's lives who I don't know, close to. And it all just started gradually. By the time I was like in my early 20s, I started to hear from him like even more vividly. I'd have the visions, I'd hear his voice, which is something like I never understood. Like my aunt would always say, like I just know something's gonna happen, or it's not like she tried to explain to me, but I was just like I'm not sure. Like, could you explain more? Like, because it didn't make sense to me at the time. But
Mm.
yeah, I definitely now like I'm hearing from him almost every night. I feel like once you have that openness, like you're like I really need to hear from you, God. I want to accept any message, both good or bad. Then that's how it happens. It's
Yeah.
very amazing. So I just also want to let people know that he does speak to you in many ways. It depends on, he usually like does a platform that you're most comfortable with. If you don't dream much, you obviously won't do dreams. He might talk to you through other people, music, it all depends
Yeah.
on like where we feel most comfortable with. But there's no need to be ashamed of them, because when I first started telling people about this, like 14, 15, I really thought they'd be afraid, but they weren't. They were
Mm.
actually like really interested and intrigued. They didn't like judge me or anything. So just a message I want to let all of you know, like, don't be ashamed to talk about these dreams, because I feel like the older I get, the more I see that people are just opening up to talk about any type of ways they hear God speak to them. And yeah, it kind of just feels like a comfort to know you're not alone and that God's
Yeah.
continuing to reach everyone.
Well, and also when you get a dream or any message from God,
Mhm.
there's so many ways that God talks to us, but it's really important to first. I always take it back to God first because it's a
Right.
personal conversation,
Mhm.
but I also take it to people in my community because they have wisdom and experience, and that kind of helps shelter you as well. You know what I mean? It keeps you protected so you don't like go flying off in left field. Like, what are you doing? Like, I
Right.
had this dream. Like, talk to people around you because they love you and
Yeah, and they're always there to support whatever's going on.
uh,
Even if it's strangers, they may have a similar situation and they can relate to you. There's also another point. Like I know many people, they seem to like not know the difference between psychic and like a gift from God. So I kind of like,
oh yes,
get into that,
yeah,
because a lot of people, like even my friends, they're like, "Oh, we have like superpowers or you're psychic," and I'm like, "No, not like that. Not
no,
like none of that. It's all God. it's nothing evil. It's not from myself. It's from God. And he,
Yeah, I've noticed that, especially with like New Age, and I don't even know
yeah,
all the labels that it goes under, but some people don't know how to describe what's happening to them in their Christian walk in like Christianese, you know what I mean?
yeah.
And so they'll use like other terminology.
Hmm.
Um, and being a traveler and talking to people around the world, like for me, I'm just like, however you can communicate this to me, it's okay.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, I hope that the church can kind of like start. I don't know. It'd be nice if like
program.
we didn't have like the church language and the other language. You know, it's
Yeah,
like, oh, can you all just
that's
communicate?
so like you to go just to having like an understanding. So I hope that many of the churches and just people in general are able to understand like what's happening. Because I always
Yeah,
thought that like it was something that happened like so far ago. Like like you always hear of God talking to people in the Bible, and I'm like, oh, I didn't know he could actually like when I first started, I was like, oh, so he could still talk to us now, like because it
yeah, I didn't know either.
grow up in like a culture where it was like that. So like I ended up I was Catholic, but then I started to become like a Christian like around 6 years ago. So like I started to realize like more of what actually says in the Bible and more like like when you're a Christian, it's like you foster the relationship with God more than the religion. So
Yeah,
definitely
yeah.
it would make like a big impact on me for the better.
Yeah,
Everyone.
yeah.
Hmm.
It's like God is so personal.
Hmm. It is.
And
It's just a personal relationship.
yeah, and I didn't really know that until I was in like 20s.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I just turned 26.
Oh, okay. Happy early birthday. I mean, late birthday, belated birthday.
Thanks. And so yeah, gosh, I probably started discovering that
Hmm.
like 22, 23, and I was like, I should have had this figured out by now,
Oh,
but it
no,
just
no.
just took longer,
Hmm.
because it's what you're exposed to and what you're ready for,
Hmm.
and yeah, but it was so good. My mom and my grandma both came from a Catholic background as well,
Oh,
which actually I've met some Catholic people who have like crazier, more personal experiences with God than I've
yeah,
ever had.
definitely.
So
So, I mean, like in a good
it
way.
is like all over.
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely for me, like same thing you said, just coming from an evangelical background
Hmm.
was like once I stepped away from the religion or like the memorization and the knowing of things and I
Yeah.
started like head to the heart kind of
Yeah,
journey.
you
Once
just
that happened, I was like, oh, this
yeah,
makes
you
so
just
much
realize
more sense.
how everything is just opened up more. Like, oh wow, I can hear from God like through all these ways, and it's just a nice feeling.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, it's been good.
But yeah, so anything else you want to say or let anyone know?
uh I'm open to questions. I don't know exactly what to share.
Oh, okay.
um
Well,
I yeah.
if anyone wants to ask any questions, if not, I'm gonna just put this up later on the Instagram stories,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna try to see if I could put it on Instagram TV because I know there's been an issue with it lately. Like they say my videos are too long, so I always put it on YouTube.
Oh,
So
okay,
just be
yeah.
aware, it'll be out there somewhere.
That's fine.
Yeah,
I'm cool with
no
that.
problem. It was very nice talking to you.
Yeah, it's good talking to you too.
Yeah,
This has
message
been good.
me any
We'll have to do this again.
Yeah, definitely. Just tell me a time and a date. And for you guys
Awesome.
too, just let me know. I'm open to talk about any of these things. So if you just want to say hi, then
Yeah,
message me.
and I'm open on DM as well,
Yeah,
so
definitely.
feel free to connect.
Yeah, that's always open.
Alrighty.
All right, so have a nice evening.
You
And I
too.
hope to talk
Bye.
soon. Bye. Hey guys, if you guys want to talk to me later on, my DM's open. If you want to schedule a live, do a little talk like how we did before, that's always welcome. So, hope you all have a great rest of the Wednesday, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.